Rudy Schlatner, along with his family members, left their Czechoslovakian home after World War II ended. As they escaped the encroaching Soviets, they had no choice but to begin a new life. Rudy, now well into his 80s, decided to go back and explore his former family home. The building has been home to a variety of other families since the Schlatner family said their goodbyes. Rudy wanted to go back and revisit his old home for two basic reasons: to hopefully find old family valuables and heirlooms, plus he wanted to see what all had changed. Although his old home is now a school, a full-fledged kindergarten, he was full of hope. When Rudy finally made his way into the old house, he went to the attic, then approached a loose board with a string tied to it. This had never been noticed by the others before. It was clear that he knew exactly where he wanted to look, that his memory was still fresh. Rudy was hoping and praying that what he was looking for would still be there as he pulled on the string of the wood board. Lucky for him, behind that board lay multiple items that Rudy's family left behind during the war. Rudy's family had to flee abruptly due to the Soviets invading the area where they resided. However, just before they fled, Rudy's father kept some of these items in the strong of hope of one day returning to collect them. Although they were kept in such a small compartment, nothing went missing. It's so unbelievable that so much could fit inside a small space, right? Employees at a nearby museum in Usti.idnes.cz came over to look at the discovery. They very carefully examined and studied each of the items individually. Rudy's family had kept quite a bit of stuff, like the old toys that Rudy and his siblings played with. The feeling of having to run away from all that you've owned is unimaginable, right? As he went through each and every item, he remembered his parents and other siblings. Having said that, Rudy knew very well that he'd not be able to take everything back with him. They were reminders of the life Rudy had passed on. Also, these were priceless artifacts from a bygone era. What looks like ordinary sewing supplies is actually a group of objects that can never be recreated. This was not all, as they found something more. Museum employee Thomas Okuna was in the shock of her life as she examined some of the items that Rudy had uncovered. She said, "We were surprised that so many ordinary things were hidden there." She went on expressing her wonder. She simply couldn't believe so many of these items were present there all along. She went on feeling gratified, saying, "Thanks to the circumstances, these objects have a very high historical value." But then, as we had mentioned earlier, since there were so many discovered items, it was clear that they had their work cut out for them. These tiny pieces of metal held some significance. Now, although they seem to be just ordinary metal pieces, they're far more interesting than meets the eye. The examiners became more and more excited as there were so many items still waiting to be studied. You could even say that they were like kids on a Christmas morning. This antique scale again has become a special item. Because it was manufactured during the time of war, it's become a rare find. They were beginning to feel as though the items were too much. It was getting a little too strenuous for them, and they were getting a little tired. The value of these paintings is still being determined. Like we've said, all the items would have been manufactured pre-wartime, so their values would be quite high. Rudy needed to inform his findings to the Czech government, so he obediently did. Nothing could hold him back from the joy he felt seeing memories and reminders of his family, and to reclaim all that he lost in the war. They were indeed such wonderful items to behold. Rudy and his findings are indeed valuable, but it doesn't mean that there are no items from the Second World War out there too. Few are as strange as this carrier pigeon, with the coded message still attached, which was found in a chimney in England. After the war was declared over, 1,500 pieces of art were found in a Munich apartment. They are worth billions and were from renowned artists such as Picasso, Renoir, Matisse, and Chagall. A British merchant ship was found 3 meters under the surface back in 1941 off the coast of Ireland, resulting in quite a discovery. Specifically, a haul of 61 tons of silver, worth about $36 million. It contained 1,574 silver ingots and weighed a total of 1.8 million ounces. All the artifacts found during World War II were not all valuable. One time, a German bomb that had been buried underground for decades was struck by a digger. The dig driver died there during the explosion, which also injured 8 other people. The fact that Rudy was able to locate his father's hidden treasures still in mint condition is quite a feat. All the other artifacts were discovered so long after the war, and it makes you question how many other treasures are left hidden in plain sight, right?